These are all the books I've read this year. Well, except for one, which is a digital book. So you add that. These are all the books I've read this year. Now, I know it's not that impressive, 7 books, um, and we had 12 months. But I've been busy this year, very busy, getting teaching credentials, teaching, finding a job, that whole period there. I've been busy. So these are all the 7 books. Overall, this year when it comes to reading has not been my favorite year. There are a few highlights that I've read this year that was like, wow, this is cool, interesting. I'm loving this. But there was a good amount that was also very, very, uh, very just bad, very much killing my mood of reading any books. So I'm just gonna rank them from least to best of all the books that I read this year. Okay, started with number one, probably to nobody's surprise if you watched the review of this book. Uh, is it number one or the least best? I got 7 books, so at the bottom, number 7, Tender is the Flesh. I didn't like this book. I honestly very despise this book. Maybe despise is the wrong word. I didn't despise it. It was just boring for me. I got the message that the book was trying to convey, like that you're supposed to get from it, the author's purpose, but it didn't hit me. I was just bored reading it. The characters were dull to me. The concept was cooler than what the actual story itself was. By the end of the book, I was just more happy that I finished it. And there's supposed to be this big shocking thing. I didn't care. I just wanted this book to be done with so I can continue to read something else. Not a long read, like 200 pages. 100, yeah, like exactly 200 pages. Um, I don't recommend it. It's not scary, but if you like it, please tell me why. Okay, at the number 6 spot, we have Days at the Morisaki Bookshop. This book wasn't necessarily a bad book in itself. No, it's not number 6. Yeah, I thought it was bad. I was just bored. It was boring again. It felt like it set up a lot of different plot points and a lot of different conflicts that could arise or things that could go on within the story itself, but you never feel fulfilled. Like it just like it opens it up. It opens up like a love interest. Oh, so what's going to happen there? Nothing really happens. It's like I care about these other characters, and you don't get to know what happens to these other characters. I know that there is a second book, but honestly, after reading the first book, I'm probably not going to read the second book unless like I get it for free or something like that. But yeah, which was really cool. I got this book from Japan too. I don't know if we'll zoom in there. Yeah, I got this book from Japan, which is cool, but also kind of depressing that I didn't like the book that I got from Japan. So yeah, Days at the Morisaki Bookshop. Okay, 5th book. We have Kristen Hanna's The Four Winds. This book, I didn't hate this book. I actually started liking the book towards the third act. Towards the end of the book, I really got invested in this book. It just kind of starts off really slow. Like it's just you think something's going to happen, and things really don't happen to a lot later than what you probably would like for it to happen. It's not a bad book. I don't think this book is bad. I enjoyed it for the most part. It's just kind of slow in the beginning, and it didn't fully hook me to want to read it. There are certain parts like, oh wow, okay, you're expecting this is gonna be cool. This thing with the dad's gonna happen. We're looking for this character, and it doesn't happen like that. It is historical fiction, so yeah, that is probably a lot more accurate than what we as the readers would like. But it was okay. I very much like the Dust Bowl. If you don't know too much about the Dust Bowl, check out Mumford and Sons song "Dust Bowl Dance," one of my favorite songs by them. Yeah, it's okay, but it was cool. I do know Kristen Hanna has the Nightingale. I I'm not really sure if I'm going to read anything else from her. It's not that it's bad, it just wasn't for me necessarily. In 4th place, we have the Tatami Galaxy. This book, I just made a review of it, but this book is very, very, very Japanese. If you're not into Japanese culture, you might want to stray away from this book. Not saying, well, maybe not even that. It's just very. I feel like Japanese is the only way I can describe it. There are a lot of things that if you don't know about Japan, within the book, whether it be places, what a tatami mat is, um, different slang, different references. If you don't know what those references are, it might go over your head and you might find this book a little bit uninteresting. Furthermore, the book is separated into 4 different parts, but the 4 different parts are a repeat of each other. Four different scenarios, slightly different. The main character, we don't really get his name at all in the book, but he joins a club. There are 4 different clubs for him to join. And first part of the book, he joins one club. Second part, another club. Third, another club. Fourth club. It's very much this idea of, only if I joined this club, my life would be better. You find out maybe that's the case, or maybe nothing really changes. I liked it a lot. If you want to watch the anime and not read the book, you have the anime option too. I heard the anime is really good. I enjoyed the book for what it is. This being the last book that I read in 2024, I'm happy with it. Okay, now we are at the top three books that I've read this year. Number three is, it is, where did I put it? Sacrilege. Sacrilege, written by Barbara Vaughn. It's a book that I did get for free, which is really cool. Never got a book like for free that somebody asked me to read, but I really did like the book. It was really cool, very much like reading a play or watching a play. Watching a play. It very much deals with the inner struggles of a character. I think the book is actually labeled as horror. I might be mistaken, but maybe it's thriller, but it's more like a psychological thriller. It's a very short read too. You can read it in probably like 4 days. It's very bam, concise. I very much appreciate that. A lot of the struggles the twist at the end, phenomenal. I was a big fan of that. Number 2, we have The Dead Romantics. I love this book. This book right here was my very first romance book by Ashley Poston. And I'm not like against romance at all. It's just I try my best to avoid like the smut stuff. And this book was written very, very well. I enjoyed the characters. It's a very to the point read. Very interesting. Very I can keep reading this book over and over again. When this book ended, I was like, wow. Are other romance books like this that I don't know? I feel like that's very much like risky. It's already risky going to Barnes & Noble, going to the fantasy section and try to find a fantasy book. But yeah, overall, I did like The Dead Romantics. I do have this as my second favorite read of the year. Very dope. I might check out Ashley Poston's other books. If they're similar to The Dead Romantics, that would be cool. But I did like reading this book a lot. That's why it is number 2. Now, the best number 1 book that I've read. The number 1 book that I've read this year. It goes to A Little Life. It goes to A Little Life for a multitude of different reasons. Although my opinions about A Little Life is complicated. Not my opinions. My feelings of the book is very complicated. I did enjoy the read overall. It made me think about a multitude of different things when it comes to different struggles people have in their lives. The book centers around 4 friends and living in New York, growing up together, going through college, after college, 30s, 40s, 50s, until they get older and stuff like that. But it really circles around a character named Jude who has a lot of things that go on in his life. I'll leave it at that. Topics that are discussed within this book can be very heavy. I don't recommend this book to anybody, or I can't recommend this book to people online. Unless I really know the person, then I might tell them read A Little Life. But even then, this book is heavy. I enjoyed the book. It does have a lot of flaws, but it has a lot of good parts too. Unfortunately, though, it also wasn't the book that made me cry. I have not cried yet in a book. But A Little Life is definitely the best book I've read. While A Little Life might be the best book that I've read of 2024 so far, with me coming back into reading books again, the best book that I've read, it has to still be Babel. I love this book, okay? I want something that's going to make me feel the way I felt reading Babel. I couldn't get enough of this book. I'm I borderline almost reread this whole book this year just because I want that feeling again. I want something that's going to beat Babel. I do. I know the Stormlight archives are out too. I heard those are really good by Brandon Sanderson. I'm just very intimidated reading a 1,000-page book, so maybe I'll get to that. I probably will. Those are the books that I've read this year. Those are the rankings from bottom to top. Overall, like I said, it was an okay reading year. Nothing too special. Nothing that really surprised me. I had a reading goal set for 10 books this year and I got 7. So I'm happy with that. I would like to have got 2 out of 10, but 7 books out of 10, I'm cool with that. I'll take the C, pass the class, call it a day. Next year though, I do want to see if I can read 10 books. I might actually push it up a little bit. I might go up to 12. Or maybe I should just keep it 10 because I never got to the 10 goal. Yeah, I might do that too.